Howdy. How y'all doing? This is the third and final, I promise, video from Fright Night Film Fest 2011. I didn't expect this one to be a three-parter, but it just has morphed into that. I'm going to dive right in and show you the two main one-sheet posters I took with me. I narrowed it down to these two. I don't know how they won the trip, or got to go with me on the trip, but I'm always real leery about taking one-sheets with me because I'm clumsy. I'll rip them. And in fact, one of them did get an inch rip at one of the tables I got an autograph at, but it's a funny story. I'll tell you along the way. Ah, sweet nectar. Here we go. We're going to go handheld for these. What I have for your viewing pleasure here, guys, you can't go to a Revenge of the Nerds reunion. There's my wife's hairdryer in the man cave. How did that happen? Oh, Jesus. Right beside my Horror Hound magazines. What's going on here? Anyway, I got my, I have for your viewing pleasure an original one sheet of Revenge of the Nerds that I've been saving for the right time to strike. It is autographed by all the nerds that were in attendance. I went a little haywire on the nerds tables that second day, and I just couldn't take it. It's my favorite comedy of all time of the 80s. It's kind of a go-to comedy. It's one I watch a lot of. I have a bad day at work, I just throw in Revenge of the Nerds, and all is right with the world. And that's what I told a couple of the nerds, and I really think they appreciated that. So, anyway, I'll just kind of go through it from top to bottom, tell you who I got signed it. Of course, Anthony Edwards was not in attendance because he's still kind of the working, well, I don't want to say working actor, but he's kind of I think he's on a TV show or something now, and he's still kind of away doing other projects. And also Timothy Busfield, the guy that played Poindexter, I think he's away doing some films or something. But I got up here to Barry, Nerds Rule, Curtis Armstrong, Booger. Oddly enough, I think Booger and the girl that played Betty in the movie, Lewis's girlfriend, oddly enough, for some odd reason, I didn't get a picture with either one of those, but all the other nerds I got a picture with. Anyway, Curtis Armstrong, Booger. Over here we have Barry, Love Julie Montgomery. That's the girl that played Betty Childs, the main sorority sister that Lewis falls in love with in the movie. Down here, right beside his picture, we have Thanks Barry, Robert Carradine. He played Lewis in the movie. You know Robert Carradine from a lot of other kind of Roger Corman movies and other 80s flicks that he's done. I was dying to ask Robert Carradine about a little unknown Nick Castle directed movie called Tag the Assassination Game that he made with Linda Hamilton. It was a cable favorite back in the day, but it's since went out of print. It's never been put out on DVD, but I don't know. I just didn't want to bore him with that. Over here we have Barry, Clap Your Hands, Everybody. Larry B. Scott, Lamar the Trail. Larry B. Scott I just got to stop and say, Larry, he was smaller in real life than I thought he would be. He's a little guy, but he's got a heart of gold. He's just a real nice guy. Took time to take a picture with me, and Larry B. Scott's been in a lot of 80s films. He was in Space Camp. He was in Iron Eagle. He was in, that's just a couple right off the top of my head. He was actually in the first Karate Kid. He was one of the Cobra Kai's as well. So, you know, the guy's been around. If you've seen 80s films or if you grew up in the 80s, chances are you've seen Larry B. Scott in other films. Down here we got one of my favorites that I met among Larry B. Scott. And there he is on the poster. Barry, you nerd. Don Gibb, Ogre. There he is without his beard. That's what he looked like in Revenge of the Nerds. Now he's got the big old beard, and you'll see in the photos. Don Gibb was super cool. Bigger, larger-than-life guy. I was determined to ask him, what's in your wallet, like on the commercials, but I figured he'd probably gotten out enough that day. And plus, Don's a pretty big guy. He could clobber me really easy. So anyway, over here we have to Barry, I'll drink to that. Your pal, Brian Tachi, who played Takashi Toshiro in the movie. I think he was the Japanese exchange student. Really cool dude. Over here, I think the last one I got was Barry. I don't even want to go to college. Andrew Cassay, who played Wormser. In case you're wondering, Wormser was the little kid genius who shows up. That's his first line in the movie. He's the little kid that's like smarter than all of them. He sets up all the cameras to spy on the Sisters of Pi in the movie. Anyway, that's the Revenge of the Nerds. I got to part with a little secret. You're gonna think I spent a small fortune on getting these autographs, but I really didn't. I paid for about half of them. The other half of the guys, a little interesting story. When I went to see Robert Carradine, he was one of the first ones I went to. He was determined to fold up my poster. It's a folded one sheet, and it's a little rough in condition. So when he was folding it up, it ripped. I think you can't see it right here, but in this fold right here, there's a little inch-long rip right there. And he talks just like he does in most of his movies. He's like, "Oh," and I'm quoting. He said, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh shit, man, I ripped your poster, man. Oh dang, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And he just got so, I was like, Robert. I just said, Robert, it's okay, it's okay. I said, I'll just leave it kind of half unfolded, and I've got a nice story to tell now, because now I can tell everybody that my poster, this little rip right here, I done it with Robert Carradine at your table. And we just had a chuckle and a laugh about it and everything. He said, "Okay, just be careful, man. Be careful. Glad to meet you, Barry." And it was just really cool, because after that, I think, I'm not going to name their names because I don't want to sing, but a couple of the nerds down the line, because you go down the tables, they saw that happening, and I think they took pity on me, and they didn't charge me. So it was just fate, man. It just worked out to where I was running out of money the second day, and I didn't want to pay for a whole lot of these unless I just had to. But I ended up getting a few more for nothing. So, and the photos as well to go with it. So I'm thoroughly happy with Revenge of the Nerds. All-time favorite comedy, one sheet. Okay, I've gushed enough about Revenge of the Nerds. The trip would be nothing without seeing John Carpenter. I narrowed it down to one poster. It was Big Trouble in Little China that I took with me. And now for your viewing pleasure, the jewel of the hall, John Carpenter signed my original one sheet of Big Trouble in Little China right there on Kurt Russell's chest in sterling silver. He's got a wild signature, but I assure you that's John Carpenter. Nothing fancy. Like I said, his line had a little bit different rules. He didn't get to write a whole lot on each poster and stuff. He did sometimes, I think, the second day, but first day was just kind of get them in, get them out, and I'm happy with it. It's got John Carpenter's signature on one of my top 4 John Carpenter films of all time. Sorry about the glare there. But just neat to have his signature on an original one sheet. And I wanted to put that one on the wall because I looked through the ones that I do have, like Prince of Darkness, vampires, and all the... I got a few. I don't have any of the real ultra rare ones like Halloween or anything like that, but it just seemed fitting because I wanted an action movie on the wall from the 80s. It's like a go-to movie. Halloween is a classic, hands down, and I watch it every Halloween, but Big Trouble in Little China is kind of the go-to Carpenter flick that I watch all the time. And it just seemed fitting to get it signed, and I don't know, it's just kind of a little dream come full circle. Got to meet one of my favorite. He's probably pound for pound my favorite director of all time, and feel very fortunate to have his signature, even if it is on Kurt Russell's chest. Oh, that's pretty cool. Anyway, there you have it, dudes. This has been the Fright Night Film Fest autograph haul, whatever you want to call it. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm gonna get out of here and meditate for a little while, watch the rest of this flick, and I'll be back soon, and we'll take a little break the rest of this week. I don't think I'll post anything on Wednesday. It's doubtful. I don't know. I might post something small, some kind of little update or something like that. But we'll take a rest a little while because I need it. Probably at least the rest of this week, and then do videos next week. That's my plan anyway. Rock on, dudes. If you have the means, in closing, go to a convention at least one time. Save your allowance, even if it's just a few bucks. Get an autograph or two. For me, I needed it. I just needed to do it because, not to give too many details or anything like that, I had a cousin that I was close to pass recently, and I was sitting there at my desk. He died in his 40s, and that shouldn't happen to anybody on earth, in my opinion. But I was sitting there at my desk one day at work, and I was just like, dude, I am sitting here. I just felt like I was wasting away and not doing anything. That's why I was like, dude, I'm going to stop talking about these conventions. Even if I have to drive, I'm going to enjoy the drive and just go to it. So, coming back full circle, my advice to anybody out there that's never been to either, whatever your preference, comic book convention, gun shows, whatever you're interested in, go do it, because you'll get a lot out of it, I think. At least one time, you'll get a feel for it, and if you get a taste for it, you might want to go back. Like myself, I can honestly say I'm looking forward to going to Scarefest if I have the means and the money. Rock on, dudes, and I'll see you next time.